Hi everyone, thanks for dropping by and for returning to the old world. Today, a part 2 really, if you like, following on from my gut reaction to the update we received from Games Workshop on the 14th of October about the game Warhammer, the old world. For those that didn't see that video, there should be a link floating around on the screen. Do feel free to go and have a look at it. But in summary, I said we've got news, the game's still coming. The update it's broadly some art, which is perhaps a little disappointing. A comment around the fact it's Bretonnians, Tomb Kings and Orcs. The aesthetic looks to be broadly unchanged, although I was kind of a bit disappointed by that because I think they could have done something a bit more interesting with the look of the game. But that aside, it looks like we're going to be getting updates into across 2023, and I speculate that might suggest we'll be looking at maybe a release towards the back end of next year or maybe into 2024, and that kind of depends upon how closely they can link to 40th anniversary of Warhammer and, of course, 10th edition of 40k. So that being said, what's this video about? Well, really I want to comment on the discussions I'm seeing exploding across the internet about what this update actually tells us. And I think a lot of it sort of focuses around a couple of the paragraphs in the update. So there's one which talks about a lot of work that's been done towards writing the rules, playtesting the rules, doing the layout of the rule book, etc. Some commentators are leaping on that and saying what this tells us is actually loads of work's been done, the project's nearly complete, it's just around the corner. Isn't that great? On the other hand, we've got people saying, well, actually what this means is there's all these things that need doing, work's being done towards those things, and it could still be quite a long way off. The most pessimistic, perhaps, you can pitch them in that phrasing, are the people who are saying this is just a marketing tool, because if you look at the timing of the update, a few weeks ago, Kings of War got a new book. That's a product by Mantic Games, and Games Workshop just want people to stay away from their rivals. I mean, personally, I'm not so sure I can be that pessimistic around it, because if Games Workshop don't have a rank and flank offering for fantasy, they're not going to scratch an itch of a customer base, so I'm not sure it matters that much if people satisfy that urge with another company's offering, because you can still sell those people tools. I mean, they've just released 4 new tools, haven't they? Paints, possibly models for like from the Age of Sigmar perhaps line, or maybe people also play a bit of 40k and they want to do stuff like that, or Warcry. There's other markets there. Anyway, boils down to a debate around what do this paragraph mean. And I think quite interestingly, the wording of the update can actually be legitimately taken in all of the ways previously described. One of the joys and trials of the English language is it can be very precise and very clear when it wants to be, when someone wants to use it in that way. If you think back to previous updates on Warhammer the Old World, Games Workshop gave us a bit of an FAQ, and they said, is it going to be a square or round base game? It's going to be square bases. What's the scale going to be? It's going to be the same scale as before. When's it going to be set? Is it going to be the end times? No, it's going to be earlier than that. They're very clear around that information. The English language can also be used to say an awful lot whilst actually saying very little. And I think what we've got here is a very well-worded update from Games Workshop that provides some information around what's going on, and they tell us, for example, that there's a lot of things they could show us, but they're just choosing to show us some art and an updated map right now. And it's clever because it doesn't really tell us much, but it opens the door to discussion, debate, excitement, disillusionment. It gets into the limelight a little bit. It triggers a response amongst the people that are interested in the game. It gets things livened up a little bit. So I think, yeah, a very clever update, a really useful one. All it tells us is work's going on with the game. There'll be more updates in 2023. You can imply from it we're probably not going to hear much more this year, probably nothing more this year, 2022. But there's very little expressly said. Now, some commentators are saying if you look at the map, it shows you what the major factions are going to be. I've not done a review of the map in detail. All I can really say is it's a low-res map that's very difficult to look at. If you blow it up, maybe you can glean some information from it. By blow it up, I mean make it bigger, not actually set a firework underneath it and blow it to smithereens, obviously. So my message around all of this is to be careful, I think, with the debate that's going on, and let's try not to become either too pessimistic or take a massive overdose of hopium with what's being provided to us. The update has kind of got me thinking a little bit around the concept of Schrodinger's cat. A cat in a box is both dead and alive until you open the box because you don't know what state it's in. As I said, Games Workshop have said they've got a lot to show us, but they're choosing not to at this point in time. That's probably the key stuff, because if they showed it to us, it would demonstrate how advanced the game is and whether it is just around the corner or there's quite a lot of work still to be done. But without seeing those things, we can't know. So whilst it's probably right not to get too excited, I think we also need to be careful about not being too pessimistic as well, and just trying to take an even keel with our thoughts. I've mentioned before in previous videos, I am excited about Warhammer the Old World. I'm looking forward to it. I'm interested to see what they do. We know that they're taking what they say are really the best bits of all the previous editions. And that will mean, again, different things to different people. People will have liked different aspects of different editions. It's why you still get communities out there playing 6th as opposed to 8th. Communities that play 3rd and 4th instead of 5th. People like different things. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they do with it. I remain interested in the project, but I'm not going to get overly excited until we see something express, clearly stated. This XYZ will happen, and it's going to happen by this date. So they are really my further thoughts on the debate that's raging around the update provided to us. I will keep my eyes open for anything further, as I said in the first video, and release my thoughts on it as and when things drop. Otherwise, the intention is to keep the regular Friday uploads coming about various topics within my hobby interest. If you're interested in my random meanderings through wargaming, particularly with the Warhammer and 40k hobbies, feel free to subscribe and join me on that journey. If you don't enjoy it, then fine, absolutely. Fully appreciate it's not everybody's taste. But all I can say now really is thank you very much for listening. I'm Return to the Old World, and have a great day.